Can I know if y'all can hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, thanks. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good evening to everyone joining us today. We warmly welcome you all to the day two of the Ru'yah A-Level Guidance Webinar Series, organized by the Faculty of Science, Muslim Majlis of University of Colombo. This webinar series is specially designed for students who are currently deciding on their advanced level stream, and they are here after completing their O-level examinations. We hope today's session will help you gain a clear understanding of different streams and assist you in making well-informed decision about your academic future. Before we begin with our first speaker, let me briefly share what we have planned for today's session. In today's webinar, we will be exploring a major A-level stream, arts, and also an important A-level subject, ICT. Our speakers are ready to share their personal academic journey, provide insights into subjects studied within each stream, and discuss the opportunities available after studying these fields. What are the opportunities available ahead of you? So they'll be explaining about all of these things to you. So we will continue to play an important role around the world. So if you are excited and interested about computing, so this is your time to know what is coming up next in your coming up in A-Level ICT, right? So to guide us through this subject, we are pleased to have Mr. M.S.A. Sadiq, who is currently a third-year undergraduate reading for Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science at University of Colombo School of Computing. He will be sharing his experiences in pursuing computer science, the opportunities available in choosing ICT as the A-level subject, and valuable advice to students considering this path. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Sadiq to begin his session.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum all. I hope you guys can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So to start off with, let me share my screen first. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So to start off with, myself, Ahmed Sadiq from the University of Colombo School of Computing. So I'll be here to conduct the session on AL guidance webinar related to information technology. So yeah, before starting off, I would introduce information technology in A level. So you could really choose information technology in any of the four streams that you have, like mathematics or physical science, and the commerce, arts, technology. So in those streams, you guys can choose IT as a subject for you to do in your A levels. So it was a bit of a hassle, really, for me to gather the required information on all those uh, streams. So yeah, so I've got what I could collect. So apart from that, I'll guide you guys how to get the information that you really need to. Okay. So to start off with, myself, Ahmed Sadiq, and so I did my ALs in Wimber College, Kurnagal, under the stream physical science with 2AB for maths and physics chemistry. So currently I'm undergoing the BSc in computer science, University of Colombo School of Computing. So that's how my ALs really went. And I'll give a brief description or my personal experience on how my A-level journey went through. And right now my involvement in within the university. So I'll say why I decided to include this in this presentation later on in the session. So I am currently the member of the university football team, And then I'm also in the Students' Union of University of Columbus School of Computing as the IUD representative, which is the internal undergraduate degrees. And also I'm the current president of the Robotics and Automation Society of UCSC. So that's about me, and yeah, let's go through with the slides. So this is the agenda for today in my session. Why choose IT? Okay. Why not to choose IT? And then the subject combinations and degree pathways that you can go through to get the common career paths and the emerging career paths in the IT related field. And also at the end, we have got the resources and questions and answers session. All right. So why should someone choose IT? As so somewhat we all really know how the world has developed or how it has been technologically developed, to be precise. So with the yeah, development of artificial intelligence, that's a common word that you guys may be hearing these days. So yeah, along with that, why you guys should choose IT? So you have the option to choose various degree pathways if you go in the IT related field. For example, the trending artificial intelligence and also computer science and information technology, software engineering, data science, and apart from that, cybersecurity, data analyst. So we could go on. So there are so many related opportunities right now in the field of IT. So there are many degree pathways in state universities as well as in private universities as well. But since you guys are doing ALs, I'll stick to the government university follow through. And then we have got the global opportunities. So I think only in IT you get the opportunity to work remotely. So might have heard, if you have anyone working in the IT related field, you guys can work remotely, or even if you can migrate if you have the in-demand skills that the companies require, like Facebook, Google. Even if you have got the skills, yeah, you can really get into places like that. And apart from that, a good earning potential where you can earn on your own. So that's a big advantage that I see in this IT field. So you don't want to work under someone else, or you don't want to. At times, you don't want to look for a job. If you want to earn, you just want a laptop and a good internet connection, right? And yeah, you can, if you have the enough knowledge, which is also freely available through the internet nowadays, you can earn on your own as well. And also the logical thinking that you gain through IT. So it's different. The logical thinking that you gain, it's different. How to analyze a situation, how to analyze a problem. So the experience that you get through that is different as well. So it helps you strengthen problem solving, which is useful for any future career, which is even useful for in your life. So moving on, an honest talk. Is IT for everyone? So to be honest, IT isn't for everyone. So that might be straightforward. Yes, it is, but IT isn't for everyone. So the reason being, you should really think twice before getting into IT to see if you have really got the potential to go through IT to face the challenges which comes, and also to adhere to the work environment which IT has. So apart from that, we have got heavy theory plus math in IT. So IT is a theoretical subject, uh, apart from like what other fields. So this is mostly theoretical. You learn theory and you implement it. So, and apart from theory, we have got math. So there's a lot of math involved in subjects like computer science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So it's basically built upon math. So if I guess if anyone has done oils for in your sorry, if you have done IT in your oils, you guys would have known that a machine just can understand the binary language, which is 0 and 1. So how can a machine convert the language that we give, which might be English or Sinhala or Tamil, whatever, and convert it into the binary language zeros and ones and understand it, and also give you a reply in the language that you desire? So that's math right there. In the beneath, it's math. So DSA topics like DSA automata theory, where you build compilers, understand what a compiler does, etc., etc. And also advanced mathematics, you got integration, derivation, and apart from that, statistics, which is most useful in the AI-related world nowadays. So those can be challenging. So if you're ready for that, okay, you have got a point through. And also you have got to have the analytical the correct piece which would suit well. So that's the same concept in IT related field. So if you are a developer, or if you have really developed something, or if you have coded something like a web page, website, basically, you would have come across bugs. So you have got to solve them. You have got to find out why it isn't working. So that's analytical thinking there. And also it may become frustrating at times, but when you solve bug, yeah, that's a different kind of an excitement or happiness that you get. So yeah, the field rewards those who enjoy breaking down complex problems. That's what really this field does. And also it is a fast changing field. It is changing so fast that even we can't think of. So because of that, you must be willing to learn continuously. You must be a fast learner if you want to get into IT. So years before, we haven't even heard of artificial intelligence, but right now AI has taken over the world. So it's not only AI, there are so many concepts behind it, but the only related term that we often hear is AI. So things like this, so we get IoT, so we get machine learning, we get cybersecurity. So this is a fast changing and a vast field where you could really explore many interesting things, and also high impact and the constant innovation. You get to build things that matter, the apps which you might use. For an example, Zoom, right? Before 2020 or before the corona, we never have even used this app. It existed before as well, but right now every sessions, there are a number of sessions going on using Zoom. So this is what that innovation is all about. So if you have that will for innovation, if you have that confidence, or if you have that what you call that happiness in building things, in solving problems, in breaking down problems, yeah, IT is for you. But if it is not, but if you can get an interest, however, in this field, you might think of it. But you should think twice before entering into IT, because it might be. I have seen people who like they get into this field just because they I make sure that after entering, if you have that will to do and the courage, you get a different kind of excitement in this. Yeah, moving on. So the subject combinations which are available in the current curriculum of Sri Lanka advanced level. So we have got, we basically speak about four main streams here. So bioscience isn't related to IT, so bioscience isn't here. So physical science, commerce, technology, and arts. So physical science, I did physical science myself, and yes, I didn't choose IT. So there's a reason behind it. So I have an IT background myself. So it was like my mama wanted me to do chemistry and get into engineering. So that's like typical mothers we have back at home. So that's the only reason why I did chemistry. For if not, I would have done IT myself. So yeah, so combined mathematics, physics, ICT we have got for physical science. You could do it instead of chemistry. In the commerce field, you could do IT instead of business studies. And technology, you have got to do science for technology, engineering technology, or biosystem technology. And apart from that, you can choose IT. And in the arts stream, you could choose any other two subjects along with IT. So this is how the um, choice of the AI related subjects in Sri Lankan curriculum it is. But yeah, there are pros and cons in that. So uh, as we know, Sri Lanka is still a developing country, and most of the people here, they don't have the basic knowledge about what IT is or what it really does. So you should have that knowledge. And before entering into IT, you should really know what it does and where you can get through. So I think this session would help you all in clarifying any doubts that you have. And also, as I did physical science myself, I don't have an in-depth knowledge about commerce, technology, arts streams, how IT works on that. But I have managed to collect resources related to it. If you have any issues regarding any of those streams, feel free to contact me after the session, and I'll be able to guide you guys. Okay. And physical science plus IT. So the degree programs that we have for physical science plus IT is so on top. The degree program which is on top is the BSc in AI, which is offered by the University of Moratuwa. So this is a newly what you call it is just the latest course introduced by University of Mortar just 3-4 years back, and I guess the first batch of it will be releasing this year. So we yet have to see how they will be performing in the field, in the IT related field. So I have no idea about how they have related. So nobody does. So maybe yeah, AI would be better, but AI, focusing on AI right now, since AI is the hot topic that we have this in this world running out in this world right now, we really don't know for how many long years AI would persist. Okay, so yeah, AI is a trending topic. Yeah, AI will be there in the future, but maybe it would just it would just undergo, just like IoT did in back. If you guys could remember, there was this IoT thing which had a hype similar to AI, but not the level of AI, but it had a hype, Internet of Things. But it just went through the aisle, so it reduced it automatically. It's uh, the need for that reduced. So with AI also, AI will be there in the future, but we don't know for how many years it would, and how many careers it would take. So in the IT related field. So apart from that, if you get into computer science, so computer science is far more different from software engineering. That's a big major issue that I see. IT peeps who have that who don't have that knowledge regarding computer science and software engineering. So computer science is more theoretical than software engineering. It is not about building apps. It is not about building softwares. It is learning how the machine performs, how the basics of the machine, the basics of the computer. So that's what we learn in computer science. That is totally related to math, I would say. So you have got so many math in computer science. And apart from that, we have software engineering where you develop applications, mobile apps, software apps, websites. So that's software engineering, developer related field. And also, you have got BSc in information technology, which is also offered by the University of Moratuwa, which is similar to, which runs along with the computer science degree program offered by the UCSC. And also, these are some of the universities, not all, some of the universities which you can get through with these related courses. So yeah, as I mentioned, it is the widest access to top tier CS and AI programs, strongest foundation for technical roles, and best for students strong in math who want maximum flexibility in degree choices. And next, Commerce plus IT. So the degree programs that you can get into, these are some of the degree programs, not all the degree programs. So BSc in Information Systems, which is offered in Japura and also as well as in UCSC, and also Bachelor of Information and Communication Technology that I think it is offered in Japura as well. So refer to them. And also why you would choose commerce with ICT? It perfectly blends of the business with technology. So if we get at the end of the day, it's all about a business, right? So commerce is a business related field, and so the IT, okay, the developer can develop the application, but the marketing side, the customer handling, everything should be done by a marketing manager or a IT project manager who should look after the project, who should guide the project, who should be in contact with the client and as well as the developer. So that's a perfect blend for someone who would do commerce. And also, yeah, it opens doors to IT management and business analysis roles. Best for students interested in how IT drives businesses. Okay, great for those who want to understand both technology and business strategies. And next is the technology plus IT. So similar to that, we have got BSc in Information Systems, Bachelor of Information and Communication Technology, and also BSc Management and Information Technology, like the degree programs offered in Kalani University. So apart from that, there are so many other IT related courses which you can get into by doing technology with IT as well. And yeah, practical hands-on approach to IT, strong focus on applied technology and engineering principles if you get into technology related field with IT. So students who prefer practical work over pure theory. So it is not that complicated like computer science, or you might go get into like software engineering fields and also data analysts, okay, and project managers, quality analyzers. You can get into those fields which are in demand as well. And then the final stream that we have is the arts plus IT. So you could get into IT with any other two arts subjects. So BSc in Information Technology and Management, BSc Information Systems, like those degree programs offered in these universities. So this is also for IT related people. They could, sorry, for those who want to go in the arts stream, you can get into IT along with your stream as well. It might be helpful, it will be helpful for you if you have that passion towards IT, and like mixing that qualities or the abilities that you have along with IT. So as an example, UI UX designing, so many art students, there's a different you know uh, abilities there which are related to people, so you can get into UI UX designing and IT project management and tech communication roles as well. And I think the Azan is going on, so I'll move for a moment. The different these are the different degree programs that I mentioned earlier: AI, artificial intelligence, computer science, software engineering, information technology, information systems, and BICT. So these are some of the degree programs which you can get into state universities by completing your AS with IT. And moving on, yeah, the IT career paths, the common career paths, and also the emerging career paths. So we have software engineer, developer uh, role, which most of you guys would have heard of the software engineer term, which is like it is a
I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Your microphone is on though. Still no. Can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now okay.
Fine. Sorry about that. So the common and emerging career paths: software engineer, developer, web developer, and database administrators, and also IT support network admins who will be in charge of networks which runs the internet. And also those are the common popular roles in IT sector, and also the emerging and high demand roles which are now popular like data scientists. So this is directly related to math, statistics. They use what they do is they basically use data to predict trends and drive decisions. So they basically help businesses to predict the future outcomes based on the past data that they obtain through their businesses. So that's what basically a data scientist does, and also a cybersecurity analyst. So they protect systems from hackers and breachers. So you guys would have known about hackers, and also so deep fake, which is coming out as a threat through AI. So cybersecurity analysts and specialists are in charge of those roles. So they are in charge of like security related in IT field, and also cloud architects who are responsible in pushing the applications into the cloud. So everything right now in the IT field is running on cloud-based architecture. So design infrastructure on AWS, Azure, and also Google Cloud. So the cloud architects, that's what they basically do. And also artificial intelligence, machine learning engineers, so which you can get into a similar role like that by the course offered by University of Moratuwa, the BSc in AI. So what they basically do is build intelligent systems and chatbots using AI and machine learning. Moving on, so the key takeaways from this session, I would say ICT is versatile. So as we discussed before, you could get into IT with any of the fields: physical science, commerce, arts and technology streams. So there isn't a specific path. So this is the only way in. No, it's not like that. If you have any interest towards IT, if you want to like combine your subjects, combine your stream with IT, you can do that as well. And also choose your subjects wisely. So your subject combination directly affects your university options. So plan ahead and check the handbook. So there's this handbook, I guess the previous speakers might have also told about that. The handbook which is offered by the UGC. So it would be better if you guys uh, just check on that before you get into a decision on your A-level subject stream. So you guys would be able to get an idea, a basic idea of what are the courses that are offered by the state universities, and also relate that with your interests, and according to that you can choose your stream. And also, yeah, IT rewards curiosity and self-learning. So there are so many free online courses going over the internet, the certifications and communities. There are so many communities helping developers or data scientists or AI ML engineers. There's a very big community over the internet which they are willing to help you to grow and to help you with the problems that you face within IT. And also, IT careers are diverse, as I mentioned beforehand. There are so many career paths which you can choose from coding to design, security to data science. There's a role for every type of mind, yeah, in IT. So it's up to you to decide which field that you want to get into. And yeah, as I mentioned before, these are the two ways which you could get more information about the degree which you are willing to get into. The University Admissions Handbook, which is granted by the University Grants Commission, and also the university websites. While looking into the UGC handbook, refer to the university websites as well, like check specific degree programs at Morotua in our faculty UCSC and also in Japura, Kalania, and any other universities, Peradeniya. So there are many state universities that are willing to offer these courses for free for you all. So if you just dig more about this IT related field, if you just speak to someone who does this course in private, so they are charging a huge money on this. So the same course which is offered to you free by the University Grants Commission. So I would encourage you all to get into a state university only if you are willing to do that course which you are selected to. If not, it's up to you to decide which you are going to do. If you are going to do a private degree, yeah, that's fine. So it is not a must for you to get into a state university. It's nothing about that. So that's just a public mindset that you have to get into state university, you have to get into engineering, you have to get into, you have to become a doctor. So that's a common public mindset. So you just do what your heart wants to do. So in what you have a passion to do, and identify what your passion is, what you are interested in, and that will take you places. Yeah. So that's it for the session from my side. So if you guys have any questions, so to be asked from me, yeah, I'm open to that. And also, if you guys want to contact me, this is my LinkedIn QR. If you guys want to get to know any further details, just drop me a text on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very informative session. And we will now move on to a Q&A segment. I think most of the questions are covered so far, so it'll be few questions only. And the first question is, well, you said you didn't do A-level ICT, but still you could answer these based on the research that you have done. So I think one of the questions they say is, should I build a portfolio or do some projects before or while doing A-level ICT? Would that be necessary?
Yeah. Uh, so speaking about why I chose computer science, so I really could get into Ru'yah engineering. Uh, Basically that's what my mama wanted me to, but no, I wanted to get into computer science because I had that passion for IT. And after getting in here, I wanted to dig more about electronics. So I joined our Robotics and Automation Society. And as of now, we have uh, able to secure two second runners up in maze solving competitions, which if you are interested in electronics, you guys would have known. The reason why I said that was don't limit your knowledge. So don't limit your knowledge into the syllabus or whatever a course is offering you or whatever a university or whatever a teacher says you to do. No, it's not about that. So this knowledge it's vast, right? It's open for everyone. So with the advancement of internet and technology, so any field that you want to get into, there are enough resources over the internet. So yeah, I would encourage you to do projects, build as many projects as you could do. So if you are willing to get into an IT related field, I would recommend you to do ALs with ICT. But if you aren't sure about getting into a field like that, I would recommend you doing chemistry, because there is another course as well offered by the University of Morato, which is computer science and engineering. So that's obviously a better course than computer science because it involves computer science and engineering as well. So, but getting into that is a bit hard. It is a bit of a hassle because after getting into, if you get into the first thing that you have to do is you have to get into University of Morocco. That's a pretty hard task, but it's not impossible. But you have to work for that if you have the passion for that. And after getting into University of Morocco, you have to get into computer science and engineering um, department after the first semester of their academics. So you have to pass that test and you have to have that required GPA to get into CSE. So anything that you want to do, if you have the passion, do it. Don't just wait someone else to do to say to for you to do that. Explore IT, build projects, build your portfolio right now itself. And I would recommend you guys to use LinkedIn, update whatever you guys are building. Just build whatever you would like to do. A common problem that you see in the environment or in your home, or a common problem that you faced, yeah, that's fine. Build a solution for that, publish it in LinkedIn or somewhere that you want to. And yeah, that would be a great career path for you if you could get identified by the high officials or the high resource persons in the field. Yeah.
Also, there's another question. Would you recommend ICT to someone who has not done ICT for their O levels?
Yeah, regarding that, yeah, I think I have already answered this question. If you have the passion for ICT, go for it. It doesn't matter that you haven't done IT for OLs. Okay, nothing of that matters. So if you just want to know if you are really into IT or not, I would recommend you to just take out the O-level textbook. Okay, just take it out and just go through. Okay, so basically it's theory. Basically that's flowcharts or what pseudo codes. So those are the basic things which will be available in your OLIT book. So go through that and just think if you are really into that, and also search for YouTube videos how an AI powered chatbot is made, how an website is made. So just find out different things about IT, find out how things are made, how a computer understands the binary language, how a computer understands different languages. And if you are really into that, I would recommend you going for that, getting into IT. But if you aren't sure about that, okay, if you aren't sure, don't get into IT, because I have seen many people who get into IT without a knowledge. They seriously get into IT without a knowledge, and they really get frustrated about the degree program they're doing, and they are not able to figure out a path in their related to their career. So I would say build up the passion, find out what your passion is. If you really have the passion towards IT and if you are really willing to go through this, yeah, I would recommend.
There is another question. Safia is asking, will I be able to follow only IT pathway in university if I do ICT in A levels? Won't I be able to follow physical sciences in university? So she's asking if she does A level ICT, will it restrict the paths to get into university, like to do physical sciences and all, to keep
Yeah,
her options?
yeah. So if you do ICT, you will not be able to get into any physical science related courses. Yeah. So you will only be able to get into IT related courses. So which is on top, the AI course offered by the University of Morocco. I guess the Z score, the cutoff marks, it is above 2. And then we have at second the UCSC computer science course offered by UCSC. And then we have the IT course offered by University of Morocco at third. So these are the most common IT courses which you could follow if you get IT into your ALs. So maybe it would be artificial intelligence, it would be computer science, it would be information systems, or else if you do something like commerce, or if you want something like management included in that, you could go for MIT Management in Information Technology, which is offered by Calania. So those are the streams that you could get into if you do IT in ALs. But if you do chemistry, there's a more probability of you getting to choose. There are many options for you to choose from. If you are really into physical science or engineering, and if you get enough marks, yeah, you could get into that. Or else, if you really want to get into IT related field after that, you can get into that as well. But the only issue there is chemistry. So chemistry, it is really a good subject. I really love chemistry now as well. But some people find it hard doing chemistry, so it's really fun learning chemistry. So if you're not really into learning inorganic or organic, so I would recommend you guys to just take out a chemistry notebook of someone who did AS, and if you think you could get through that, I would recommend you do chemistry for your AS, and thereby you would be able to get into any field that you want to. But if you get into, if you choose ALIT, you would get into these pinpointed degree programs only.
That's all. Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to our final speaker for the day, who will guide us through the art stream. To guide us through this field, we have Miss Nuha Hamim, who is currently a fourth-year undergraduate reading for an LLB honors degree at Faculty of Law, University of Colombo. She will be sharing her experiences in selecting art stream subjects, what students can expect from this stream, and share some helpful advice for those who consider a career in law. Without further delay, I would like to invite Ms. Nuha Hamim to begin her session.
Thank you, Zainab. I'm hoping that I am clearly audible and visible to all of you.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. All right, so good evening, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Just like I was introduced, if I were to give you guys a bit of background about myself, I'm Nuha Hamim, and I'm currently a fourth-year student at the Faculty of Law in University of Colombo. And I schooled, and I did my A-levels in Ilma International Girls School. It's a school in Colombo, and I did it in English medium. And I also studied in the arts stream. And my subjects were English literature, economics, and logic and scientific method. So today I will be talking to you guys a little bit about your selection of subjects in the arts stream and how you can find a good subject combination and your approach when it comes to studying for A-levels, as well as certain things in relation to the law degree for anyone who is interested in doing law. So just to begin with, if it's possible, could I get an idea about how many of you in this meeting are considering to do a law degree in university after A-levels? We have around 13 participants here. So if anyone could indicate either by reacting or by a message, if there are people who want to do law for their higher education. Don't worry, I won't call on you or I won't say your name or anything. If you could just indicate, because then I can spend a little more time talking about that as well. Okay, so right. With that out of the way, I will firstly tell you guys a little bit of the structure of what I'm going to say today. Unfortunately, I don't have a PowerPoint prepared. I felt like having a casual conversation would be easier for you guys. So what I will talk to you about is firstly the approach to selecting A-level subjects in the arts stream. and then the nature of different A-level subjects and what you should consider when you're selecting it, especially because the art stream it has a variety of subjects. There are diverse options for you, and each of these subjects can give you certain benefits. So I'll give you a small idea about that. I will also talk about certain subjects' relevance to the law field, but I'll do that quickly in case there are not many of you who want to do law. And I will also talk about how certain subjects can give you other options other than law after A levels. And then also I will talk about why the art stream could be important or why you should choose the art stream. And finally, I will talk about certain study methods and study approaches that I used when I studied in the art stream for my A levels. If there is anything that I'm saying during the session, or there's anything that you want me to clarify that is not clear, or if I'm too fast, please feel free to interrupt me at any point. You can send a message or you can unmute and speak. Or at the end of the session, you can put your questions to me and I'll do my best to answer. So to start with, everything that I say, I would like to preface this by saying that everything that I say today is based on my perspective and my understanding from when I did A-levels. I did A-levels in 2022. I was the batch of 2021. And I was able to get 3 A's for my subjects. So this is all based on my point of view. I'll just say this right now, if you do want to do law in the University of Colombo, the requirements are very less. It is very flexible because you can do any stream for A levels and you can still apply and get into the law faculty, provided that you have the minimum Z score necessary, and that is decided for that particular year by the UGC. You just have to refer the handbook that the previous speaker referred to. You also need a minimum C pass for general English for O levels. And with the minimum Z score and the C pass for English, you can enter the law faculty with whatever stream that you choose. But the most common stream that the people who do law come from is the art stream. So I will talk a little bit about that. Right. So firstly, the approach to selecting A-level subjects when it comes to the art stream. So if you're someone who has a goal in mind, for example, if you're someone who knows that you want to do law, or let's say you want to do English, or you want to study arts, a subject in arts like history or geography or international relations, then with that goal in mind, you can decide on your A-level subjects. You can check what are the degree programs offered by universities and what are the requirements. For example, in the UGC handbook, if you want to join the arts faculty, there are certain subjects that you can't do in A-levels. And for my year, as far as I remember, if you did business studies for A-levels, then you can't join the arts faculty. So there are certain rules like that. So your A-level subjects, when you start selecting them in the art stream, you have to consider your end goal. And if you don't have an end goal, I would recommend you select subjects that have a high Z score because that gives you more opportunities and more options later on. When I was doing A-levels, the subjects that had a high Z score were basically the languages, that is English literature, Sinhala literature, Japanese, French, Tamil, various subjects. They have high Z scores. There is also business statistics, there is history, geography, there is logic and scientific method, and subjects like that, and also Islamic civilization. All of these subjects, when I was doing A-levels, had a high Z score. And at the same time, the subjects like business studies or media or Islam, as per my understanding, had a relatively lower Z score. So knowing the subjects that have a high Z score is very important when you select your subjects. And how you can know this is basically ask your seniors and the people who did A-levels right before you, and they will have an idea of during your time what will be the subjects that have high Z scores. So when you're selecting your combinations, your subject combinations for the art stream, if you want to get an ultimately high Z score, what I recommend you do is to select one extremely hard subject. That is a subject that has an extremely high Z score. And then one subject that is relatively, it's in the middle. It's not extremely hard and it's not easy as well. And then your third subject can be a subject that you are familiar with. It's not necessarily an easy subject, but a subject that you are a bit okay with doing, that is relatively easy for you, right? So in your combination, what I would recommend is to have an extremely hard subject, a medium hard subject, and an easy subject, because this gives you the best chance to balance your studies out and ultimately get a result that has a high Z score. And also, another important thing, in addition to the Z score that you have to consider when selecting your subjects, is your strengths and your interests. Like the previous speaker talked about, you definitely have to consider what you're good at and what you like to study when you select the art stream. Because the art stream gives you a lot of options. You have a whole lot of subjects. If you check the official handouts and everything, you have a lot of subjects and a lot of options to choose from. So you can actually sit down and think, what are my strengths? What are my skills? Based on that, choose the subjects corresponding to that. For example, if you're someone who likes to read, you like to read books, English books, novels, short stories, poems, then English literature is a really good subject for you to choose. If you have a skill, if you like to do subjects with mathematics in it, with scientific equations and things like that, you can still do subjects in the art stream by choosing subjects like business statistics or economics. Like that, sit and think about what are your particular set of skills and what are the things that you are interested by. And then consider your A-level subjects. Now, all of this has to be looked at in relation to your end goal. That is in relation to the degree program that you hope to do in the future. So if it is law, based on my experience, I can tell you a few subjects that are good for you to choose and a few skills that you need as a law student that you can gain from those subjects in A levels. So, what lawyers and law students need are very basic skills: the skill of reading, the skill of comprehension, of understanding what you read, the skill of concentration and focus, because there are large volumes, large amounts of materials that you have to read when you are a law student. You also need writing skills. You need critical analysis skills. And so there are subjects in A levels that you can use to develop these skills if you want to do law in the future. For example, English literature. It is a subject that I myself did, so I know that when you do English lit, you are trained on reading a lot because your main foundation for that subject is reading books. You are also trained in looking beyond, the surface level and having a critical view on things, which is very necessary when you want to do law in your higher education. You can also practice your writing skills because English literature is basically a subject where you have to sit down for 3 hours and write essays, like 15 pages, 16 pages, which is really difficult. So practicing it for your A levels will really give you a benefit when you do law in the future, because for law as well, you have to write a lot. There are other skills that you need, like time management, like being up to date with current affairs, with real events, with news, being like I said, time management, being up to date, and reading technical things. So when it comes to law, it is not something that you are exposed to or aware of in your school days, right? So even in O levels, nor in A levels, we don't really learn what the law is. We don't know what acts are, what cases are. We don't really come to in contact with these things. So a lot of what you learn as a law student is something that is unfamiliar to you. It is very new to you. So having the skill to read new things, to read unfamiliar things, to read technical things is also something that you need as a law student. And other general skills that you need are, of course, presentation skills, advocacy skills. That is the skill to talk and to persuade and to basically debate someone, to argue. I think you guys might have an idea when it comes to debating, because you all have debating societies and things like that in school. But that is a very important skill when it comes to a law student. Communication, teamwork, all of these are very general but very necessary skills for law students. And if you want to consider developing them, you have to consider your A-level subjects and your A-level activities while you're in school, if you are in school. So like I said, if you want to do law, doing subjects like English literature where you can learn to read and you can practice those skills is good. Subjects like logic and scientific method is also good because in logic, you have two components. You have logic and you have scientific method. So logic is all about the way of thinking, right? It's like a set of puzzles, like mind games, things that you would find in a IQ paper. That is basically what's there in logic. And it also has a section where it teaches you how to argue correctly and the mistakes that you can make while arguing. When it comes to scientific method, it's basically about the history and the process of reaching a scientific discovery. So how scientific discoveries have, been reached in the past, how certain theories and concepts have come into play. All of these you learn in scientific method. It's basically very theoretical and you have to read and memorize a lot of things. But logic is a very important subject because it helps you gain certain skills and knowledge that you will use in your future if you decide to do law. Another subject, so the third subject I did was economics. Now, this doesn't have a direct connection to law, but I did it because, like I said, it was my third subject. It was the easiest subject for me, and I liked it. So I chose it because it was something that was easy for me to do and balance with the other two subjects. So economics is basically about how businesses have profits, have revenues, how the economy works, the various factors when it comes to banks and those loans and concepts like that. It's very, very much connected to business studies and certain things that you would have already learned if you did business studies for O levels. But in general, there is a mathematical component to economics as well. There are graphs and certain things, equations that you will need to know, but it's not too difficult. When it comes to other subjects, just to give you guys a basic idea about other subjects that I am aware of in the art stream, we have, like I said, languages. So just like there is English literature, there is also Sinhala literature and Tamil literature, where you can read texts in that particular language. And basically, it's like a lot of reading, a lot of novels and short stories and poems and prose, all related to that language. There is also pure languages like Japanese and French and Mandarin and all of these subjects, which depending on the school that you're in or depending on the classes that are available to you, you can choose. And all of these languages have really high Z scores. There are also subjects like geography and history, which are generally extensions of the O-level subjects that you did, but in a more advanced way. And doing all of these subjects can be really helpful based on the potential careers that you want to get into in the future. For example, if you choose certain subjects in the art stream like English Lit, history, geography, and political science, perhaps, then you have options like doing the arts degree or international relations or journalism and or media or even law and certain degrees like that. But there is a lot of flexibility when it comes to these degree programs because, like I said, arts has a lot of subjects and a lot of combinations that you can choose. And with most of these things, you can do a lot of different degrees. So you don't have to worry too much about being restricted in that sense. Yeah. So certain jobs, certain degrees that you can get in relation to subject after doing subjects in the art stream, like I said, you can do law, you can do international relations, you can do journalism, you can do English, you can do education. That is learning to teach English as a second language. That's an actual degree program in state universities. And you can even do teaching or lecturing in universities. You can be a scholar. You can write research papers and articles. All of these are possible jobs and pathways for you to choose if you choose the art stream for A levels. Yeah. So with that being said, I will now move into why you should choose the art stream or the potential benefits or the reasons for choosing the art stream. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys, but basically The first thing is with the art stream, you can develop a lot of skills that you need in the real world. Like I said, when you choose subjects like English literature, subjects like basically Sinhala literature and all those languages, you learn the very important skill of reading. Reading is not something that you can take very lightly because it is actually difficult, especially in this current generation, in this current day and age when there are a lot of things going on. Social media is very prominent. Reading is actually a lost skill and it's very difficult to get it if you don't have the practice of it, because to do reading you need a very good attention span, you need concentration, you need focus, and if you don't practice that skill you can't just automatically get it when the time comes later on for you to read, right? So choosing a subject that involves a lot of reading gives you important skills when you go into the real world, right? Because in your jobs, in your professions, in whatever you do in your higher education, you will have a lot of things to read. So choosing a subject like English literature is something very beneficial and gives you that skill. You also have the skill of critical analysis. I spoke about this a little, so you can understand. The skill of thinking, the skill of debating and advocacy and other small skills that you wouldn't get in other technical streams is something that you can get in the art stream. And on that note, choosing subjects in the art stream are not traditionally very stressful, right? You can understand it's not the same as doing physics or chemistry or maths, right? It's arts. It's a different, it's a different exercise of your skills. You don't have to sit and memorize and learn how to do equations or things like that. You can actually enjoy what you study if you choose subjects that you have an interest in. So by that, you reduce the amount of stress that you put yourself in, and then, as a result, you are free to do a lot more extracurriculars and co-curriculars during your A-level life, right? So if you choose subjects in the art stream, you are free to join extra clubs and things like that, because those clubs and societies will help you with your subjects, unlike if you were doing other streams. So it frees up a lot of your time and it helps you, gain more experience, more skills in that sense. Um, Something that you might misunderstand or you might not know is that arts is not easy. Just because the word arts seems like something that would be easy, it doesn't mean that the subjects in the art stream are easy. It won't be easy if you don't properly work for it, if you don't study, if you don't understand it, if you don't put enough time and effort into it, it won't be something that you can do easily. So don't have that misconception. But because it's not easy, you'll understand that doing subjects in the art stream, subjects that you have preferably have not heard about before, subjects like history, European history, or new languages, or things like political science, and other subjects will give you more information, more knowledge. It will make you a more knowledgeable person and it will give you perspective. Perspective is very important because when you grow up and when you enter the workforce, when you enter the profession, the corporate world, when you enter any job, you will need to communicate with other people. You need to build your networks. You need to have connections, right? And to do any of this, you need knowledge, you need awareness, you need perspective. And choosing subjects in the art stream gives you exactly that. For example, if you choose English literature, right, you take a novel or a story. In that story, there are things that you need to understand. There are themes, there are plots, there are characters, there are character development. So all of these things helps you to gain a very deeper understanding about how the world works, because all of the things that you learn in the art stream you will be able to apply to the real world. So a very important thing that most people don't know is that arts, studying humanities, studying subjects like sociology, studying subjects like history, geography, all of it opens up your mind and gives you more awareness, which is very useful when you enter the real world, the workforce in the future. Doing art subjects is also a good way for you to get a high Z score and enter good universities. So when it comes to students who want to do, who want to have options, when you choose arts, for example, in comparison to choosing business studies or commerce, if you choose arts, you can strategically choose subjects that have a high Z score so that you can be eligible to enter any different degree program in university, in state universities. So, and also, when you enter the University of Colombo arts faculty or the law faculty, I can tell you based on my own experience and things that I have gathered, it's my 4th year, so I understand this, that these two faculties and this university is really a great place for you to learn and have your higher education, because it's a great environment. They have great lecturers, they have good opportunities for you, for your growth. So trying to get a high Z score and enter universities like this is definitely something that will be beneficial for you. So yeah, so that is a bit about why you should choose the art stream and what are the benefits that you can get from it. I will also now take a little bit of time to talk about my own A-level journey and my study methods and things that I implemented, very useful for you. So you can also implement it when you eventually start your A-levels. Yes, so can I quickly get a confirmation if I am still clearly audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Right, thank you. Okay, so my final part of what I wanted to convey today is basically, like I said, my own A-level journey and my study methods. So I'm someone who really wanted to get into the law faculty, right? So I had that goal and I knew that the Z score that was necessary for the law fac is a little high. So I put a lot of effort into my 3 subjects, and I'm going to tell you a few things I did that would maybe help you if you have similar goals. So because A-levels has that end goal in sight, the goal of entering a university or the goal of higher education, you have a lot of motivation, right? So with that, you have to commit a lot of hours to your study. And this is not just the hours you spend at school or in classes, but self-study. So you need to spend a lot of time studying on your own if you choose the art stream and if you want to get a high Z score, especially if you choose difficult subjects, like I said at the beginning, you have to spend a lot of time engaging with it and looking at it and reading it and studying it. So on average, I would say to spend at least 6 to 8 hours on self-studying your subjects every day. And I know that this is a little, it's a little challenging, it's a little difficult. So you don't have to, strictly implement this, but have a goal, have an aim that you will study for at least 6 to 8 hours every day on your own after school or during your free time and things like that. That will really help you to ensure that you get a good result at the end. Because self-study is your entire foundation when it comes to getting a good result, especially in the art stream. You have to work on your subjects on your own, right? So also use every opportunity that you get to get better at your subjects. For example, if you are in school and you have teachers who are teaching you those subjects, use every opportunity you can to go and individually talk to those teachers, to your tuition teachers, to clear your doubts as early as possible. If they give you questions, write answers to them and give them to Mark then and there as soon as possible. Every little opportunity, every little step that you take will help you in building confidence in the subject that you're doing so that you'll be able to easily do it when the time comes. Also, something that you can do is to divide your time based on your subjects. So if you end up choosing a subject that is really hard and a subject that is really easy and then a subject that is in the middle, then divide your time and allocate it accordingly. Give 1 or 2 hours more time to the hardest subject that you have chosen and a bit less time to your easiest subject. But what is very important is that you shouldn't lose touch with your easy subject. You shouldn't ignore it. At the same time, you have to balance studying all 3 subjects and keep them at the same level, because it's very important, because it's very easy to lose you lose your touch with your subject, and then you will find it hard to catch up. So you have 3 subjects that you do for A-levels. Have all 3 consistently study for it and balance it equally, as in not the amount of time you spend on it, but keep up to date with all 3 subjects so that you don't, lose track of at least one subject, because it can be hard to catch up after that. Another Sorry. So another thing that you can do is, based on your subject, you can find out, once you get your syllabus and once you understand, how the subject works, you can take past papers and you can find out how you are tested, right? So in exams, usually they group certain lessons together and you can choose those questions if you're comfortable with those lessons. For example, the first, second, and third lesson will be question 1 at the exam, and the last few lessons of the syllabus would be the last question at the exam. Certain combinations like that can happen. So if you choose that you will be studying, you will be definitely doing these lessons and these questions at the exam, then you can very smartly memorize everything related to those areas rather than memorizing the whole syllabus. Because memorization is important. I won't say that you shouldn't memorize, because with the education system that we are in, you need to memorize to a certain extent to be able to get a good result, right? But you shouldn't memorize everything blindly. Don't blanketly memorize everything that you have out of fear, but choose which questions that are guaranteed to come for the paper at the exam, and then memorize relevant things in relation to those lessons. How you do this is basically practice. Practice with past papers. Talk to your teachers. Find out, the trends and the patterns when it comes to these subjects. So you have to be very familiar with past papers. You have to almost memorize your past papers because you need to have gone through them so often that it is very clear to you, right? That is a strategy that I used as well, practicing past papers and practicing past papers in exam conditions. I would say if you really want a great result, at least 8 months before the A-level exam, you need to start doing papers just like how you would do them in the exam. By that I mean, sit down in a quiet, private place, put your timer for 3 hours, and then do the questions, do the paper in those exam conditions, because that will get you practice. That will get you used to exam conditions to the point where when you ultimately sit for the exam, it will be easy for you and you'll be used to it. So practice past papers is a very obvious but a very important approach, a study method that you need to consider when you're doing your A-levels. Another thing that I would recommend is to physically have your notes and your materials, your short notes, your cue cards, your index cards, flashcards, whatever it is, have it physically with you. Even though it might be easier to create electronic copies, soft copies, and digital notes, I would say it's a psychological trick. If you see your notes in your own handwriting, if you have it in front of you in papers, in books, and if you spend time writing, actually physically writing, it is very much easier for you to retain that information, and it also motivates you to go back to it and keep reading it. Right. So if you're someone who really hates to write and to physically have notes, that's a different story. But if there's a choice for you, choose the option where you physically have your notes. When you have your physical notes, make sure your short notes and things that you can carry around easily, make sure you take them with you during your trips, during your family functions, during anything that is not too important. Make sure you carry your notes with you and go over them, reread them, memorize them, whatever it is. Even when you're traveling in the tuk, in the bus, whatever it is, you can keep your notes with you and memorize them, because that is how you remember them when it matters, when it comes to the exam, right? Yeah, so my point, my small piece of advice is to be smart about how you work, right? It's not so much hard work, but smart work, right? You need to be strategic about how you study. If you have a particular a particular way that you study that works for you, then do it in that way, right? If you feel like you can't study at night, that you're tired at night, that you don't have energy, then don't do difficult things at night. I'm not saying that don't study at all at night, because realistically, you won't have a lot of time if you don't study at night. But I am saying that choose what I'm saying is to choose various tasks and study methods that won't take a lot of your brain power, and do it at night. For example, if reading and understanding something is difficult for you at night, then use the time at night to write something, to just look at a textbook and write short notes, or to look at the internet and make notes. So like that, you can then choose morning hours. Maybe when you get up to pray in the morning, when you get up before the sun is up, when you get up when the whole house is asleep, those hours you can choose to do mentally intensive work, like memorizing, like reading and understanding and things like that. That is an example of working smart. There are so many other study tips and methods that you can use to work smart. Basically, you use these methods to maximize the amount that you gain by minimize the amount of effort you put, right? So with the least amount of effort, what is the most amount of gain or benefit that I can get? That is what I would encourage you to do, because um, it is really, A levels is not, it's not impossible. It's not very hard, but it's also not easy. And it is a step up. It is an upgrade from your O level experience, right? You have to balance three very big subjects with a lot of content in it, with a lot in a syllabus. You have to balance it together, you have to memorize it, and you have to do exams, and you have to do it uh, in all of these various situations that come up. For example, when I did A levels, it was all the whole COVID situation, it was the economic crisis and all of that. So like that, there are various, real world things that can happen. So when you choose to do your A levels, and if you want to get a great result at the end, you have to be serious and committed from the start. You have to be prepared in advance, and you have to find methods that work for you specifically, and choose subjects that you will enjoy studying and that will give you what you need after A levels, right? For example, if you really like to study a subject, but you want to do something different for your higher education, then it doesn't make sense to choose that subject for your A levels. But that being said, you really have to also give priority and consideration to the subjects that you have an interest in. Because if you end up choosing a subject that you really don't want to do, it is very difficult to make yourself study and to make yourself motivated enough to do well in that subject. So that is basically the gist of what I wanted to convey in relation to the study methods. Yeah, I think I covered most of what I wanted to say. And like I said earlier, your possible degree pathways, your possible career options will be basically, if you do arts, will be a lot of things. It can be, like I said, law or international relations or English or education or arts. There are different sides of arts, but you will
along, right? So we will now move on to the Q&A segment. There is one question from Law. So that is from Hamda. She's asking, can I go directly to law college after A levels without getting university admission? Can you elaborate a bit about this?
Yeah, of course. So yes, that is an option that you can choose. You can do your A levels and then apply to law college, and you have to do the entrance exam there. And if you pass the exam there, you can directly do your the law. It's not actually a degree that you do in the law college. It's a professional qualification. So it will be different from studying a law degree in a private university or in University of Colombo, but you will get the necessary knowledge and expertise that you need to become a lawyer. But it's definitely possible. You can directly go to law college. It's possible. I hope that was useful.
And there's another question about law. I'll complete all the law questions and then go into one question about English literature. Safi is asking, is law only about argument? Is this that I'm not good in arguing? So okay, she loves law basically, but she's not good in arguing. So she's asking, is law only about arguing? So if we can give her a bit of career advice on law and arguments.
No, good question. But no, it's not all about arguing. It's not even 50% arguing. It is just something that is an additional benefit that you get if you study law. I am also a person who wasn't very good at arguing and, debating and things like that when I started out. But as you study law, when you practice it, when you go through the whole process of studying the law, you will inevitably get the skill of argument, and it will be a good thing. You don't have to look at it as a negative thing, and you don't have to be scared about it at all, because the ability to speak is in a way what you need when it comes to argument, right? And when I say argue, I don't mean fight, right? I don't mean that. I mean the ability to put forward your opinion and your point in a way that other people will be listening to it and other people will be persuaded. So for a law student, even though you don't have the skill at the beginning, you will develop it as time goes on with the different things that you learn in when you study law. And it is something that will be helpful for you, because ultimately, after you study law and you become a lawyer, and it depends on what your job is. You don't have to practice law after you don't have to practice as a lawyer after you finish your degree. You can work in a company, you can work as an advisor, you can specialize in a certain area. So all of this would mean no argument, right? It's mostly if you go to courts and if you take up cases and if you are a lawyer, that you would need the skill of argument. But basically, based on what you choose at the end, you might need to have the skill of argument, you might not, but ultimately you will be able to argue and to do have that skill if you study law, and it will be a good thing for you because you can use it in any field, in any capacity, after studying law. So I hope that answers your question.
Another question, she's asking, do I have to do arts to do law at university? I think you answered this sort of, it's not just arts. So as far as I understood, that's the case. If you can elaborate more on this.
Yes, that's right. So to do law in UOC, that is in the university I am at, University of Colombo, you can do any stream and join. You can even do your science stream and then decide that you don't want to do science and then come to the law fac. But what you do need is to have a high Z score. So you can't really get a high Z score if you don't plan for it, right? If you just choose your subjects, for example, in the commerce stream, it is a little more difficult in the commerce stream to get a high Z score for arts, for law, right? For arts related degrees. So in order to join the law faculty, while you don't need to have done a particular stream, you can do any stream, you still need that minimum Z score. And for that, the best way of getting it is to do the art stream and to choose subjects with a high Z score. So no, you can do any stream and you can join if you have the Z score.
Another question, how important is English in law? You can also answer this question, is it necessary for them to do subjects in English? I mean, the medium in English to, thrive well in the university if they wanted to do law, if there is anything like that?
Yes, so that is a very good question, and it is a big concern because when you do law, you have to do it in English because in Sri Lanka, at least, not in Sri Lanka, so everywhere, basically, most of the places, including Sri Lanka, your law degree will be done in English. And it was actually until I joined university, it was the UOC, it was Faculty of Law in University of Colombo that offered the option to do it in Sinhala or Tamil as well, but they stopped giving that option with our batch. So with my batch, it was made compulsory, mandatory to do it in English. But you can do law well, you can thrive, even if you did your A levels in another medium. But I would recommend you to try to do a subject, at least one subject or the medium in English, so that you can get familiarized, you can sharpen your, skills and capabilities, because you need English for law. Because in law, you study a lot of cases, you study a lot of acts, you study a lot of laws, you study a lot of different policies, different events, different situations. All of these things that you study are in English. All of the materials, all of the articles, all of the books, every material resource, everything that you use is in English. And there are translations. You can get a few translations here and there, but in general, everything is in English. So to understand it also, you need to be able to understand reading in English. That is why I really recommend doing English literature for A levels. But basically, it's not impossible, but I would recommend to have a grasp on English if you want to do law, because it's very important. That is basically what I would say.
And then can law graduates work in fields outside of law?
Yeah,
That's another
definitely.
question. Can law graduates work? Yeah.
Yes, so you can. If you have a law degree, you can work in a lot of fields. It really depends on the job, right? You can work in a bank, you can work in a company, you can do a business. If you want to work in the business side of things of a company, I think you might also need a business degree, but having a law degree will really help. And you can use your law degree to become a lecturer somewhere, to become a teacher. But I would say that when you have a law degree, when you are a law graduate, the most beneficial, or I wouldn't say the highest, but the best option for you is to do a job in the legal field, right? Because it's very possible to earn well, and it's something that gives you a lot of benefits, right? If you choose to be a lawyer, even if you don't practice in courts, a lot of the jobs, if it's connected to legal, it is very easy. It's very good for you. It has a lot of benefits. That's a whole other conversation on its own. But you have a lot of options if you want to if you want to work in another field. You can even work in international relations, right? You can work as a diplomat. You can work at the UN. You can work in various places, and your law degree will give you an advantage there. But essentially, I would advise you to seek out a job in the law field as well, because it has a lot of benefits. But basically, yeah, that's my answer.
Another question specific to English literature. Can we get tips and understanding of English literature in arts, like how to study, maybe study tips particular to English literature, they're asking?
Yes, of course. So I have a lot to say about that, and I wanted to say during the session, but I was a little worried not a lot of you will find it useful. But basically, when studying English literature, like I said, there's a lot to cover, right? I think, so 4 categories. You have novels, poems, prose as in short stories, and drama, right? So you have, for each category, you have, like for novels, you have 5 options. And usually what people do is they choose 2 or 3 books and they study those 3 books. And then for dramas also, you have 5 options. You choose 2 or 3 dramas and then you study those 3 dramas. And then you have poems, you have about 20 poems. You have about 10 or less than 10, maybe 6 short stories. This is a lot of information. This is a lot of media that you have to consume, right? So when you are studying a subject that has a lot of things to read, the most important thing you should do is to engage with the material very often, right? By that I mean, spend a lot of time with your English literature materials. Read your books multiple times. Read your poems multiple times, more than 10 times, more than 20 times. Write notes. When you write notes, it can be notes about the poem itself. You can go online, you can Google analysis or explanation of this poem, of this short story, of this novel, themes related to this novel. So when you find these notes, write it down. Physically sit down and write it down, because that means you're spending time engaging with that material. And the more you do that, the more you will understand and the more you will remember, right? So writing, reading, memorizing, you can even do something that I did, which was when I needed to memorize a poem, because you need to memorize your poems to write it in your answers. I took voice record. I took my voice recorder and I recorded myself reciting the poem, and I listened to it every night before I went to sleep. So in that way, it just becomes easy. It becomes something that I have memorized easily. So something I would recommend is to have a lot of notes to write about the authors, about the themes, about various things, as much as you can write. And once you write it, go back to it, read it, spend a lot of time with it. And another thing is English literature is about English literature, like I said, those books and dramas. It's also about English language. You have to write essays. You have to read stories and write answers to the questions that they ask. There are various components. But basically, for English language, also, you need to basically, for that, you need to read news. You need to be aware and up to date about the various events that are happening around the world. You need to be able to write, basically develop your writing skills. And for that, I would say practice. Practice doing papers, practice doing questions, past papers, all of that. And have a lot of fun with it, because English literature is something that you can, enjoy while you study. It's about you can even watch the movies that are related to the books that you're doing. That will help you engage with the material. So whatever you do with English literature, make sure that, because there's a lot of books and a lot of materials, you spend a lot of time going through it, right? Going through it, analyzing it, thinking about it, discussing about it with your friends, debating about it with your, other people who are doing that subject. You can do a lot of things, but basically my biggest advice is to engage with the material. Hope that was helpful.
I don't think you have to elaborate very deeply on this question. Can you just briefly mention? She's asking, what are the different types of? Give me a moment. Uh, what are the different types of law fields available when you get into law faculty? I'm not sure if I'm asking that question properly. Maybe different types of fields that you can get in within law. So it's not useful for all the students, but maybe she's fascinated to know about law faculty.
Yeah, definitely. So there is criminal law, as you guys might already know a bit about. So criminal law, I won't elaborate, but criminal law is basically about crimes and basically about crimes, basically. So criminal law, there is land law, that's related to property. There is family law, that is related to marriage, divorce, children, custody, maintenance. There is commercial law, that is related to companies. And there's also company law. It is interconnected to commercial law. It's related to commercial activities like trade and business and even ICT, something like that. There is so criminal law, land law, family law, commercial law. There's international law, that is also related to, you can get jobs like diplomats and ambassadors to states, and got jobs in places like the UN. So basically, like I said, criminal law, land law, family law, commercial law, company law, international law. There are so many different types of laws, but I hope that was the question that you asked. Um, if you can give me a second, I can think of something that I'm missing. There's also constitutional law, administrative law. It is all about how Sri Lankan law works, how the public law works for Sri Lankans. There's also human rights law. There are different factions, different areas you can go into if you do law, and based on your interests, you can choose what you like to do. Personally, I like commercial law. I like working in company. I like commercial matters. So like that, there are many different types, but these are just a few.
There's another question. She's asking, is Z score same for bio and art stream to get into law faculty? or depending on the stream, will the Z-score differ to get into law faculty, or is it regardless of the stream you're choosing, will the Z-score be the same? The cutoff would be the same to get into law faculty?
No, no, no. The cutoff is not the same depending on it is based on the stream, as far as I understand. Because it's not the same, because getting
Okay.
it's harder to get a higher Z score for the bio stream than it is for the art stream. So I don't think it's the same, but please double check this because I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's not the same.
Maybe the UGC handbook would help them, right, to like know about the Z-score cutoffs and all that table we had.
Yes, it has all the information and you can even check online.
And I don't know if you
Yeah.
Okay. There's one last question. It's actually last question. Okay. Related to both English literature and ICT. One is asking, what about choosing English literature and ICT together as a combination for A level? And what would that allow as pathways, degree pathways in universities? So again, I should ask them to refer to the UGC handbook. Would you be able to answer to that question, or the combination ICT and English literature?
ICT and English, I don't know exactly, but like I said, it is very flexible, right? So you can definitely do law. You can, I have friends who did ICT and English lit, and that friend did international relations. So yeah, so I think you better refer the book. But what I understand is there's flexibility, and you can do many things because ICT is also very useful. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Noha.
No problem.
That was
Thank you.
really helpful. Okay, Jazakallah khairat to all our speakers for sharing their valuable insights and experiences with us. We hope today's session have helped our participants to gain a clearer understanding of ICT subject and art stream. On behalf of the Muslim Majlis of Faculty of Science, University of Colombo, we would like to thank all the speakers and the participants joined us today. So may Allah grant you success in your academic journeys and guide you in making the best decision for your future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.